Give a round of applause. And your headliner, Pierre Douglas. My name is Andy Kurtzman. I'm going to be your host for the show. Thank you.
Go Andy!
I come from Winona. I have a dog. I took my dog to the dog park today. The dog park is a weird place. Like sometimes the dogs are awkward around each other at the dog park, but the people are always awkward around each other at the dog park. You know what I mean? Like the dogs are running around, playing, interacting, but we just don't know what to do. Like, are we supposed to stop? Like, I'm not beyond sniffing a couple assholes to break the tension around here. But everyone always comes up and they ask me the same question at the dog park. Aw, what's your dog's name? Which is really nice, but no one has ever asked me what my name was. My dog's name is Nesta, if you were curious. Nesta is Bob Marley's middle name, so that's my nice roundabout way of letting people know that I smoke weed. Weed is legal now in Minnesota, or pretty much everywhere except for Wisconsin. It's kind of wild, yeah, right? I mean, like, you can't smoke weed, but you can drink in a bar when you're like 12 years old, as long as you have a permission slip from your parents. I think they got their priorities off. But not much has changed since they legalized it in Minnesota. Like, you can't buy it in a store yet. We don't have stores. I still gotta buy weed from the same sketchy drug dealer I've had since high school. He's just gotten much less paranoid about the whole situation. Like, he doesn't even come inside anymore. He'll just pull up in the driveway or leave it on the front step like a DoorDash. But according to my drug dealer anyway, it's still illegal to sell weed, but you can gift it to someone and then they can give you a donation. And so he'll pull up and he'll be like, hey man, here's your gift. Now you give me a donation or I'll break your fucking legs. So yeah, not a lot has changed. My cousin is getting married next summer, and he asked me to perform his wedding ceremony. And so last weekend, I went to Rochester shopping for a new suit for the wedding. Now, I learned that suits come in sets, or at least the suits that I can afford come in sets, where you buy a specific size jacket, and it automatically comes with a certain size pair of pants. You guys have one? Yeah. You actually afford suits that are custom fit. And so that doesn't exactly work for me. Apparently I'm not proportional. I have a slight downward taper. But like the sales lady wouldn't let me mix and match. She said, you know what I would recommend doing is buying the right suit, the right jacket that fits you, and then taking the pants and getting them tailored. Tailored? I'm shopping for a $100 suit. What part of that makes any sense? And you're not telling me like some guy's not going to come through here with a big, small top and a big bottom that's going to have the same problem? So I'm pretty sure I got body shamed by Macy's. But I wasn't really sure the process of getting ordained so I can perform my cousin's ceremony next summer. And so I went online and I just Googled it. And it took me to this website. And it asked me to enter in all my information, my name, date of birth, address. So I typed it all in. Are you sure your information is entered correctly? Yes. Congratulations, you're an ordained minister. It seems like it should be a little bit harder than that. So I'm writing him a really nice wedding ceremony. And then at the end I have, with the power given to me by the state of Minnesota and www.getordained.org. I'll pronounce it. It's the actual website I use. So I got these cards made up, and they say comedian and ordained minister. I'm also an Eagle Scout. I was going to get comedian, ordained minister, Eagle Scout, but I just could not think of one useful purpose that would serve anybody. But I can tie knots, and I can tie the knot. I can also write really stupid jokes like that one. Man of many talents. important day of somebody's life. I was applying for this comedy festival that's in San Francisco. My brother lives down there. And it asked for a bio. And I didn't have a bio yet, so I was writing one. And I noticed a lot of other comedians in their bios, they'll put like noticeable or famous comedians that they work with. Notable? Not noticeable. I haven't really worked with any famous comedians yet, but I have worked with comedians who have worked with famous comedians, so I kind of tried to slip that in. Andy Kurtzman is an up-and-coming comedian from the river town of Winona, Minnesota. He has worked with comedians who have worked with comedians, including... So if you guys have worked with any famous comedians, let me know so I can add it to my resume. I was helping my parents set up a Venmo account the other day. My parents are pretty old-fashioned. We all share, my parents and my brother and I, we share a joint cell phone account together. And so when it comes time to pay the bill at the end of the month, my brother will Venmo me his share. Then I have to go to the bank and take out cash and drive it over to my parents' house and drop it off. They then take the cash, take it to the same bank, deposit it. Then they go home and they take this thing called a checkbook. They write out a check for the cell phone account, for the cell phone bill. And then some guy comes to pick it up on horseback. It's quite the process. I told them, like, Mom, Dad, you guys, let me just set you up with a Venmo account. Jack and I can each send you our shares, and then you can just go right on your phone and pay the bill. I'm like, no, it's easier this way. There's been a lot of stuff about the Menendez brothers lately.
Woo!
Yeah, there's a new Netflix show, and if you guys aren't familiar, the Menendez brothers in the late 80s, they murdered their parents. And then they took their inheritance and they went on this spending spree and they bought Mercedes and front row tickets to the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. It just got me thinking, if my brother Jack and I, if we took out our parents, we might be able to afford like Geo Metros and front row tickets to the lacrosse loggers. So I think they're pretty safe. I was taking my dog, Nesta, for a walk recently, and I love that dog, and sometimes he really puts that to the test. So I was taking him for a walk, and he was taking a shit, but he was struggling. And I mean, let's be honest, we've all been there, right? When my little brother, when we were kids, my little brother was in the bathroom, and he was in there moaning and groaning. My mom, she asked me, Jack, is everything okay in there? I said, no, I think it's a square one. There's a moment to visualize that. So Nesta was doing that thing where the dogs will do the poop squat, and they walk around that way for a while. I looked, and there was a string hanging out of his little butthole. Yeah, some of you guys know what I'm talking about. And I just really weighed out all of my options before I grabbed on and started pulling. And it kept coming, finally got a little bit tighter, and all of a sudden it came popping out of there like a cork out of a wine bottle. Yeah, it was equal parts disgusting and satisfying. Now, of course, he's relieved and he takes off running, and I'm left standing there hanging on to this dangling piece of dog shit covered stuffed animal I just paid $25 for on Amazon 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I definitely love my dog. I put in a series of dog doors through my house so he can go in and out to this fenced-in yard that I have for him all by himself, which is super convenient for me especially. But there is a downside. This last summer I was getting ready for work, and I came out into the living room, and Nesta was laying in the middle of the living room floor, and he had something next to him, and at first I thought it was one of his stuffed animal toys. Well, I kind of did a double take, and there's a big half-dead rabbit laying right in the middle of my living room rug. Yeah, I was pissed because I ended up having to kill it and throw it in the trash can. I know I'm going to miss that dog. I'll leave you guys with this before I bring out your next comedians. I was in Rochester doing a comedy show recently, and before the show, the host had a camera set up backstage, and he was doing free headshots for all the comics. I was like, all right, I'll take advantage of this. And so I got turn to the right, turn back to the left. He was really thrown off when I bent over and started coughing. I looked and there was a string hanging out of my asshole. All right, thank you. I'm Randy Kurtzman. Thank you guys. Ready to keep going with a great night of comedy?
Yeah.
Your featured comedian comes from the city of Chicago, Illinois. Give it up for Derek Graff, everybody.
Okay, can we all bring Andy? I'm the second flannel shirt of the night.